colleges across the state face low enrollment and the loss of pandemic-era funding, prompting them to cut a lot of small programs.
But one school in Kansas is bucking that trend. 12 News reporter Brock Wilson talks with the president of McPherson College about a niche program putting them in the national spotlight.
It feels like, to me, every piece that comes out about higher education are cuts, changes, problems.
McPherson College President Michael Schneider says colleges shouldn't have to struggle to support niche programs.
Well, you got this passion.
They should invest in students' passions. How are they doing that at McPherson?
Car culture.
Specifically, the automotive restoration program, a one-of-a-kind degree that trains students to work on and restore classic cars.
This is the 1936 Lincoln that I've been working on.
Students like James Pollack.
This place truly opens doors that I would never have been able to on my own. I know there were times back in the day where it wasn't sure if the program would continue or not, but they kind of just doubled down, stuck it out, and they're having pretty good results because of it.
Pretty good results like a second-place finish in their class at a Pebble Beach car show last August. A result President Schneider says shows just how much of an impact schools have on students.
And so while other schools are struggling to figure out what they want to cut, we're trying to figure out what to build next in this program.
President Schneider says it's important that colleges and universities invest in niche talents because they preserve the past, like restoring a classic car, and drive student success into the future. In McPherson, Brock Wilson, 12 News.